is what's transcendent. Senator Monning, do you have questions of the witnesses, or I'm going to excuse
I wanted to follow up with the
Sure.
fishing community representatives. Thank you for allowing this discussion. I mean, it's an important conversation, and but I just want to be clear. My understanding in reading the bill and hearing the author's presentation is that anybody who is currently using GillNet would not be affected by this legislation. Is that right or wrong?
That's incorrect. They'd be affected because they're not going to be using the deep set buoy gear. The folks that even participate in the experimental fishing trials, they have said they don't want to use the buoy gear. So,
right, but they don't have to use the deep set, is my understanding. They can continue GillNet fishing if they're currently permitted to GillNet fish.
correct. And then they can't transfer the permit to, say, their son, or if they wanted to sell it. So that's a big deal. And then also the folks who haven't fished, 3 out of the last 5 years will just lose it altogether. So
That's correct. That a lot of these people, hardships, there hasn't been that much swordfish because of El Nino the last few years. A lot of people haven't fished 3 out of the 5 years. They're out of business. Or like this young kid bought a permit last year. He doesn't have 3 out of the 5 years landing. He's out of business. I mean, the bill is designed to get rid of the drift net fishery. Most of the fishermen are my age. We're old. Sun's setting in. What do we got, 2 or 3 years left? I mean, my kids want to take over. It's a good fishery. It's been brutalized. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you. I guess one question for the author would be if there could be any further exploration of protecting people that don't fit the exact description in terms of the grandfathering components. It may not go as far as the fishing community wants, but if there's a particular hardship, it would be good if there could be some discretion in terms of granting a continued, including in the grandfathering provision, somebody who's been out because of an illness or some other
we are absolutely open to that sort of accommodation. And happy to work with them and discuss this with them. I mean, I'm sure they're never going to fall in love with the bill, but the last thing, but we're not. I'm very open to modifying the rules as in the bill. I mean, we've actually made a couple. The grandfathering wasn't even in the original bill. We put that in there. The whole permit swap idea that is in the bill actually I think came from this gentleman here. So if there's if 2 out of 5 years instead, something like that.
Well, I appreciate that, and opposed to getting into those details today. This is going to EQ.
It is.
So if I'm going to close my questioning now in the interest of time, I would, if I support the bill today, I'm going to reserve the right to see if there's been modifications when it gets to EQ, that while it may not remove opposition totally, if there's some accommodations that minimize adverse impacts to current members of the community, that's what I would be interested in seeing.
Senator Monning, if the EQ waives hearing on this, because it was a prior bill, it was a stormwater bill, right?
Right, that's right.
The number. We may want to reserve the right to come even back to this committee, because there's sensitivity from people who represent these areas on both sides of what this bill is, and obviously it's emotional.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If you would reserve that right, and it sounds like we have a commitment from the author.
Absolutely.
Again, I don't know that we're going to ever remove all the opposition, but we should certainly endeavor to minimize the economic impact on the current fishing community. Thank you.
Before we discuss this further, any last questions of any of the 3 witnesses? Any of the 3 witnesses, any questions?
I have one last question, if I may.
Of a witness?
If you would indulge me here. I know these coming up from Santa Barbara is never easy, so I appreciate all the folks who've come up to be here today. Another thing I hear is the whole issue of whether or not deep set buoy gear is viable here on the West Coast. The testimony has me concerned that this is not quite ready for prime time. If the amount of fish that's being caught using that gear is so minimal. And again, I'm not interested in what they're doing back east. It's a whole different fishery. And I know, having grown up there, you can't compare lobster, but that's another conversation. Is that I too have concerns, and I would like to see answers to that question, because if we're talking about a sort of a conceptual movement to a gear that doesn't work, then we really are putting these folks out of business, and that is my number one concern, along with the idea of working on the grandfathering and helping those other fishermen. The fishing industry has been decimated along our coast because for a variety of factors, and it's an important industry. It's certainly important in my district, and the fishermen in my district are important to me because, to me, they are an example of what sustainable fishing can and should be about. So, and I'm concerned now it's not going to EQ because my request...
It's still slated to go to EQ, but I was trying to figure out what it had to do with water quality.
Right, okay, I see. And my request is similar to Senator Mauning's, and I would also like to know more about the efficacy of this deep set buoy gear as an alternative. So with that, I will support this, but only if we can come to a resolution on that in the next iteration.
And you would welcome rehearing this yes. All right. I want to thank all three witnesses and excuse you three. Now open it up for discussions with Senator Allen. And I'm not sure the gentleman's name. I would love your written testimony when you get a chance to provide it to my staff so that we can actually read it. Thank you. So there's several things that need to probably be worked on, and the crux of the matter is, generally speaking, in the past, it's just really hard for me. This is not my background in determining what's doable or not doable. Sometimes in the past, things would be directed like to the Fish and Wildlife Commission and coupled with the OPC to come up with something. We went through a very thoughtful process that many of these people did not properly opposed, and that was the Marine Life Protection Act. It turned out really to create sustainable fisheries. I am concerned about our state water and federal water, and the foreign fleets just line up off our shores.
Yeah, though.
And can disregard anything we do, and all we do is wipe out our local people. So you have a little work here to do. I think you deserve a chance to work on it because there's merits to it, but whether it's our sudden drop-off along the coastal bottom floors and how this works, this is not my area of expertise to assist you in this debate. Some is just how we can transition in a way that preserves the fishing communities up and down the coast. This is their livelihood, this is their job, and it is having someone who's had represented Channel Islands Harbor. This is a generational thing. Families do this for generations. If there's a safer way to accomplish, no one wants marine mammals accidentally caught up and killed in these operations if there's a safer way. So I don't have any direct questions. I just wanted to outline some of the challenges in this bill that is being brought up for the right reasons, but is it workable based on what we as legislators who don't walk in this arena on a daily basis have a lot of knowledge to be of assistance to get this right.
Right. Well, thank you, Madam Chair. And let me just say a couple things. First of all, there's Department of Fish and Wildlife data from last year that showed that the deep set buoy gear here was able to land an average of 4,200 pounds of swordfish per boat, while the drift net fleet landed 5,200. So it certainly is a little less, but the data that we have from Fish and Wildlife show that you could certainly catch a lot of swordfish with a much lower bycatch with this gear. So we'll share information with you, Senator, and others who want it. We can go over it. We can go through it. Clearly, the one kind of respectful pushback when you're mentioning foreign fisheries, understand that the United Nations has banned this on the high seas. So in international waters, folks aren't able to use the drift gill nets. So there wouldn't be some sort of competitive disadvantage for our folks off our coast. But I am 100% committed to an open door policy to discuss all the various issues that have been raised and invite the folks who raised their opposition to come in and speak. As I think everyone realizes, they're never going to be in love with the bill, but at the very least, we can talk about ways to make sure that we're really lessening the impact on fishermen and their families and everybody else, so that we can effectuate a transition in a way that's going to protect everybody. So I hear, we have a lot of folks who represent coastal waters, myself included, and we have got fishermen in all of our districts and want to make sure that we're being fair to people. So
I'm having flashbacks of dredge mining.
Yeah.
It's not on the same subject, but Senator Allen will pay attention to the details substantively and is not afraid to have those difficult discussions. And I would suggest it's some of the coastal legislators who are very familiar with the fishing practices along their coast that may be of assistance to you to try to accomplish both objectives.
I would very much appreciate that.
That would be the ultimate goal. So is there a motion to pass reserving the right to rehear this bill when there's more facts and information? And maybe Fish and Wildlife making a comment would be interesting.
Madam Chair, I would be very anxious to hear what Fish and Wildlife has to say. Again, when you look at the state in its totality, but, there are areas from at least the testimony today where the bycatch issue, where the amount of fish caught are a little different than those statistics. And I think that, I'm weighing whether or not I support the concept, but, as the representative of this area, voting for this at this time is a significant burden, because I do want to make sure that we do protect a very critically important industry in my district that deserves an opportunity to be heard. So what I will do, because I did make the commitment, I will support this, but I do hope that if there is concern that hasn't been addressed significantly enough, and that with Department of Fish and Wildlife weighing in as I would like them to do, if that does not reach a compromise that feels comfortable, I would ask that the bill be brought back for further discussion and possible reconsideration. I'm not enthusiastic about where we're at the moment, but I do know that Senator Allen is a man of his word and will continue to work on this. But at the end of the day, would like an opportunity to make sure that this is a bill that is as responsive as possible to the needs of the various fishing communities along our coast.
All right. Senator Hertzberg has moved the bill. Would you like to close?
I respectfully ask for an I vote. I very much take seriously all of the comments that have been made and the sensitivities associated, and want to work with each and every one of you and the opponents to make this a
All right.
good bill.
And the motion is due pass to environmental quality. Senators Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye. Stone. Allen.
Aye.
Allen, aye. Hertzberg. Hertzberg, aye. Hueso. Jackson. Jackson, aye. Monning. Monning, aye. Vidak. Wolk. Wolk, aye. It has 6.
Yeah, yes, you have 6 votes. That's enough to pass, and good luck on this. I know it's a balancing thing, and they have,
Thank you. Thank you.
you can do that.
We haven't done consent either, I don't think.
No, I'm going to go through the roll on some outstanding bills because we have as many as we're going to have for a while here, to open up the roll on other votes, as then we will listen to Mr. Hertzberg and then finally Senator Wolk and see if we can accomplish all that in the next half hour. So let's start with file item 2, Senate Bill 1020, Wachowski. This bill will probably be returning to us. They're trying to resolve differences between precedents and other issues. Chair recommended and I vote. The vote is 5-0. Call the absent members.
Senator Stone, Hertzberg. Hertzberg, aye. Monning. Monning, aye. Welk. Welk, aye.
File item 3 was Senator Nielsen's bill. The vote was 1 aye and 3 noes relating to stream bed alteration permits.
Senators Pavley?
No.
Pavley, no. Stone? Allen? Okay. Hertzberg? Vidak?
So it's still 1, 2, 4.
It's 1-4. Okay. File item, let's do the consent calendar. That was file item 5, 17, and 18.
Senators Pavley?
Aye.
Pavley, aye. Stone? Allen? Consent.
Consent calendar.
Allen, aye. Hertzberg? Hertzberg, aye. Hueso? Jackson? Jackson, aye. Monning? Monning, aye. Vidak? Welk? Welk, aye.
File item 6, Senate Bill 1190, Jackson Coastal Commission ex parte communication. The vote is 4-0.
Senator Stone? Allen? You can't. Make a comment.
No, not once I lift the roll.
So what does that mean?
Okay.
You can,
Hertzberg? Hertzberg, aye. Hueso? Vidak? So it's 5-0.
5-0. Next item, Senate Bill, pulled was 7 and 8. 7 and 8 were pulled. File item 9, Senate Bill 1287. The vote is 4-0.
Senator Stone? Hertzberg? Hertzberg, aye. Hueso? Monning? Monning, aye. Vidak? So 6-0.
6-0, that item is out. File item 11, Senator Block, Senate Bill 1333, state beaches and smoking ban.
Current vote is 4-0. Senators Stone? Hertzberg? Hertzberg, aye. Hueso? Monning? Monning, aye. Vidak?
6-0.
6-0, that item is out. We'll leave the roll open. See. And file item 13, Senate Bill 1347, Nielsen. It was amended with just the putting into statute the reporting requirement, and the budget sub will be reviewing the other parts of it.
Current vote is 4-0. Senators Stone? Hertzberg? Hertzberg, aye. Hueso? Monning? Monning, aye. Vidak? So it's 6-0 now.
Okay, file item 14, Senate Bill 1363 by Monning.
Current vote is 5-0. Senators Stone? Hertzberg? Hertzberg, aye. Hueso? Vidak?
Okay, file item 15, Senate Bill 1374 by Laura.
Current vote is 4-0. Senators Stone? Hertzberg? Hertzberg, aye. Hueso? Monning? Monning, aye. Vidak? So 6-0. Back on call.
Hey, Patty. Yeah. How does Senator Allen make a comment on the coastal bill?
Technically, it's not allowed. How do you want to handle it?
Even though it,
You got us. Sing a little.
just have you stay right there. Senator Allen just wanted to make a 30-second comment on file item 6 for the benefit of the author.
I really do appreciate your forbearance, Madam Chair. So I'm willing to vote for file item 6. That's SB 1190. I do have some concerns about I do believe that the bill's overly broad, and that ultimately, the judicial process, well, that we've got the PUC, for example, which is a far more judicial body of sorts that does allow for ex parte conversations, and yet here we're playing it at the Coastal Commission. So I've got some concerns with how it's written. I understand that this is going to be a work in progress. I respect and like the author a great deal, and know that it will be continued to work on. So I'm going to vote for it for now. But I do want to just insert my concerns about how far this is going.
Okay. And you may want to have your own separate conversation, as this bill has been voted on. It's out. We'll be lifting calls later. But because there's been such chaos of people being in committees and not here for testimony, that's a little not normal procedure. But because the bill was already out and it couldn't change anyone's mind, that was it. Senator Hertzberg, file item 1, welcome to this committee. Senate Bill 919.
I apologize.
Water supply.
Thank you. The agenda was long in public safety. I'm so sorry. And the presented number of measures. This is SB 919.
Could you start with the amendment?
Yes, we accept the amendment.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay. Madam Chair, you have spoken a lot about this issue of integrating the challenges that we face in the world of water with the world of energy. And what we're trying to do with this measure is to take advantage of that because, as so many folks now know, we have an oversupply at certain times of the year and at certain times of the day because of the amount of renewable energy that we produce in solar and wind. And we've had the unbelievable situation. I went out and visited the folks at the CalISO, where we've actually had to pay people to take energy. It's not that you just sell it as a discount. Hey, I got this extra surplus. I'll give you half off. I'm going to pay you to take it. And so in that measure, as we look to this whole shift in water policy, this discussion, particularly in Southern California, where the old model was steal it from the north or stick a straw in the Colorado River, right? And don't worry about water recycling or issues of stormwater and the like. Now we have this merger of a shift in the water world beginning. Buffalo-ville and water world, it takes so long to make decisions, but at the flip side with the energy world. So what we're trying to do is to direct the PUC to come up with regs to incentivize the process whereby there's a prioritization of enterprises where the cost of energy with respect to cycling water, with respect to desal, brackish desal, and all the other issues is so expensive, there's an opportunity here. And so we want to take advantage of that opportunity from a policy level. That's really what we're trying to get here. It's sponsored by the independent energy producers, but certainly is in my wheelhouse from my experience in life and in my prior experience in the government. So I would happy to
Yes.
light it up.
Hi, Amber Blix with the Independent Energy Producers Association. We're the sponsor of SB 919. SB 919 is really designed to give the legislative guidance to the PUC to come up with a mechanism for using the state's renewable energy resources to reduce the cost of electricity for facilities that create or augment local water supplies, including water recycling, water reuse, desalination, et cetera. It's important to note that the bill isn't designed to cite any specific plant or project, but rather to look at the state's oversupply of renewable energy as an opportunity for this water power nexus that the senator was talking about. IEP is sponsoring this bill because we believe that the state's renewable energy policies have been a great success, and we have a great opportunity here to harness this clean, low-carbon renewable energy to fuel other sectors of the economy, namely the California water supply. So we look forward to continuing to work on these issues with the committee and the senator, and we respectfully ask for an aye vote.
I wish you would step in on Aliso Canyon and provide renewable. Anyway.
Madam Chair and members, Mike Dillon representing the California Association of Sanitation Agencies and major wastewater agencies. Power is a huge cost for our agencies, and we believe that some of them would take advantage of this program. The most appropriate use would be for the water recycling, most of which is done at night now where the power is cheaper, but that could be switched to the daytime to take advantage of this new program. So we are in support. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Mr. Dillon. Anyone else testifying in favor of this measure? Let's see if there's any opposition. Opposition to Senate Bill 919? Seeing none, open it up to members of the committee. A motion would be welcomed. Moved by Senator Woke, who thinks it's a good bill. Any other questions of the author? A close, please, sir.
You know, this is really about trying to do everything we can to mitigate the war between the North and the South, which historically, if those are students of California, realize that there's
That's
been
Dodgers.
right, something like that. There have been many circumstances like that, so we're just trying to step in and do our part to lessen that burden on the North, and this is an intelligent, sustainable way to do it. Ask for your aye vote.
All right, the motion is do pass as amended to appropriations. Roll call.
Senators Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye. Stone. Allen. Allen, aye. Hertzberg.
Aye.
Hertzberg, aye. Hueso. Jackson. Jackson, aye. Monning. Monning, aye. Vidak.